Okay, so today I am going to be going into this new palette by Melt Cosmetics, and this is the Gemini 2 palette. Whew, you guys, when I saw this, I was like amazed. I was like, oh my God, I need this. The pack, Melt Cosmetics, their packaging is always on fleek. Like, look at that dimension. Just like that metallic shift in the box, the hard case. And then on the palette, we have these roses. And then around the roses, you have this metallic looking outline for the roses. So that is so dope. And then on the inside, this palette is, okay, I'm just going to show you guys. When you look on the packaging, do you see the embossed roses? And it goes from like this light color all the way down to like these moss greens, which in my opinion is a true depiction of the rose, because you have the petals, and then you have like the dark part of the stem, the leaves, and then you have all of that. So that's kind of what I get when I look at this palette. And it's amazing. It's so beautiful. It looks even better in person. And I feel like, I don't even want to say you have these kinds of colors, because these greens are different kind of greens. They're like that moss green. So those are, to me, are going to be a little bit different types of greens. All right, so let's just go ahead and get into some swatches. I'm going to get some deets on this palette real quick. It does retail for $58. So if you are new to Melt Cosmetics, that's typically, what their palettes go for. This has, I want to say this has 10 shades, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 shades. You're going to get 8 mattes, 2 shimmers. So that's a pretty generous amount of colors for $58. And if you're new to Melt, then you already know they have their stacks, and then now they're gone into like full on eyeshadows. So I did also pick up the original Gemini palette as well. I think I have the original, and then this is the new Gemini as well. So I think I was looking for it and then I couldn't find it. So then I was like, oh, maybe I don't. So we can look at the packaging. It's very similar. And even when you look on the back of it, you see the leaves, you see the stems. So you kind of see how the green ties into the, family of the roses. This one does have a black shade. So this is also a nice blend of shadows that I feel like, we normally gravitate towards anyway, but it's Melt. You know what I mean? So let's jump into some swatches of the palette. So I'm going into the first shade, the second shade, and I'm kind of bummed out that I'm going to, swatch this. So the first shade, that's called Bella. That's a nice peach shade. Then that one is Ladylike. And then we have Sweetheart. And then we have Gemalis. Gemalis. That's that next shade. So we have a nice peach shade. I would say this is like a mid-tone rose shade. And then we have our first deep rose. And then we have like a deep rose. And this one has a little bit more brown to it. And then the next shade we're going to get into. So here we go. Lovesick. That's going to be like that maroon shade. Then we have that was Schmood. Then we had LX Queen, and then we have Mateo. Ooh, Mateo though, that's giving. And then we have, let me see, Boy Mom right there. And then the lightest shade, then we're gonna do, whoopsie, Almond Eyes. So Almond Eyes is a moss green, then Boy Mom, that's like a mossy brown, a neutral mossy brown. We have Mateo, which is the moss green, and then we had LX Queen, which is a deep, rich maroon color. Oh my God, so there you have it, all the swatches. Okay, so I kind of want to do the burgundies and the greens together. So I'm gonna go in with LX Queen, which is the darkest maroon color, and I'm just putting that directly into my crease area. And that's the first shade that I'm going in. And I'm gonna put Almond Eyes as my transition shade, but I'm gonna actually put that on top. So I'm gonna use that to kind of soften up the edges of LX Queen. Now look at the pigment on LX Queen. That pigment is no joke. And I just barely tapped it in when I reached for that color. So it is very intense, and I feel like you need good brushes because you're going to be blending for a while with these shades. So I am using a Wayne Goss brush, and this is Wayne Goss number 16. That's kind of what I used initially to first put this shade down. I got LX Queen all blended out. Now I'm going in with Almond Eyes, and that was the lightest green. And honestly, I hope that this does not get muddy. So I probably should have used a different brush, but I was looking for a nice fluffier like crease brush, and I couldn't really find one. So hence why I just did that. So I put the Almond Eyes on top just to kind of give me more of that green. But then I feel like I don't even need anything darker because I got like, look how dark that is. So I am, ooh, look at this. Let me see if I could use this to buff it out. Ooh. Ooh. Yes. All right, so I blended in Almond Eye, so now you can see that I do have like a little green tint going on in the eyes. Now I'm going in with Boy Mom, and I'm really just going to focus that on the outer V area of the eye. So not really going anywhere with it, but just packing it in to the outer area of my eye. So now I'm totally going smoky, but hey, I felt like I haven't done that. And these greens are not my typical like emerald greens or like hunter greens. These are a different kind of green, so I just really wanted to use those. And I felt like I always do like the burgundy, the roses. Those are like some of my favorite shades. So now I get a chance to play with some, you know, other kind of green. So that is what that is looking like. And as you can see, I'm just focusing that right on the outer corner. And this same, I think I'm just going to do LX Queen, and I'm gonna take that onto my lower lash just to kind of bring back the roses or the rose to the eye. Instead of going in with these greens on the lower lash, I am just going to use LX Queen on my lower lashes. So I finished with the lower lashes. Now I am just gonna go in with the shimmer shade, and I'm going in with Mateo. I'm just putting down this little fixer on my lid so that the shade kind of is doing what it's supposed to do. That's what I'm doing. This is the Pat McGrath, is it Ecstasy? I don't know what it's called. Intensifies. Yeah, artistry wand. And I probably shouldn't have done that, so we can just see the true effects of the shade, but can't help myself. So anyway, now I am dipping into Mateo, and OMG, just putting that on the eyes. I don't even know if you guys can see that. I keep looking at my monitor because I don't know if you guys can see, but look at that green. OMG. Now this is pretty. I don't even know how I would describe it, but it is giving me what it needs to give me, okay? How pretty is that? Nice and smoky. I'm gonna just take this and put it on the other eye, and then I'm gonna go over it with my fingers just so I can kind of see how, you know, it performs with my fingers, because this is just me swiping the shade on. You guys, Melt did that. And because, you know, sometimes their palettes can be a little bit inconsistent. I'm just gonna go in with my fingers now, putting that down, and it looks good. I feel like, oh, there we go. It could come off as a little, like, you see that? Where it's like showing texture there, just a little bit. So I'm gonna go in with my fingers on the other eye. And then that's pretty much it for the eyes, guys. Ooh. How gorge is that? Yes, I finished off my eyes, and I have to say that this did not disappoint. Oh, in my inner corners, I did go in with the new reformulated Gemini palette. I used Gemini in my inner corner, as my inner corner shade. But you guys, this palette, love. I didn't feel like, knowing the history of Melt and some of their palettes and the inconsistencies and sometimes the shadows don't perform, yada, yada, yada. This was not like that at all. These shadows performed beautifully. They blended. I felt like they would get muddy. Now I did lose some of the burgundy-ness from LX Queen, but that was okay. I just wanted to see if there was a way to mix the greens and the burgundies together. And it didn't look muddy. It doesn't look muddy at all. They blended so nicely, and I just loved the way that it came out. I felt like it performed very nicely. And so yeah, it is $58 for this palette. So I get it. It was a good time to pick it up during the recent sale that they had. But if you missed out, I'm pretty sure there's, or even when it released on Melt, they did like a bundle and you could have saved 20% or whatever. So even if another sale comes around, I'm pretty sure that the opportunity will still be there to get this. But I feel like this is a definite nice mix of colors. And I just love these rose tones. And I feel like the next time I use this, I'm going to try to do an all matte eye look. Instead of using the shimmers, and the palette literally only has 2 shimmers. So I feel like it's a very versatile palette that you can just use it as lightly or as intensely like I did today, you know, to get the look that you're looking for. It's definitely, you could do some everyday looks with it. And the rose tones are going to be really nice going into spring and summer. So that's going to be something that I feel like, you know, you'll be able to get really good use out of. So I love this. I'm pretty glad that I picked it up. I am going to try to use the original Gemini palette and see what I can do with that one. Now that one I feel is versatile because it does have the black in it. So you could totally smoke it out. You have the greens and then you have the neutrals. So it's a pretty neutral palette, but just with a hint of green or corally, neutrals with the hint of the greens in it. So all in all, good palette. It performed very nicely and well worth the $58. But I did buy it during the sale, so it was very worth it, and Melt did not disappoint. And I am a fan of Melt, so I pick up all of their stuff because I just love the brand. I love the pigmentation. I love the aesthetics that goes into their palette. Like, just look at this. This is just gorgeous. Like, it's like you just want to take a moment for just what the packaging looks like. So anyway, thanks guys. Let me know in the comments, what are your thoughts on Melt? You know, what's your favorite Melt palette? What do you have, you know, that you want that you haven't picked up? Did you pick this up? Did you just pick up the original Gemini? Like, let's talk about it in the comments down below. And if you aren't subscribed, then please take the time to hit that subscribe button down below. And also turn on your notification bells to be notified whenever I upload new videos. All right, guys, that's it for today's video, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye.